Hi everybody, this is Shri. Welcome back to my channel Vedic Living. Today I want to tell you more about the nakshatra Pushya. And in our nakshatra series, that's the very next one we are going to talk about. Pushya Nakshatra has got a lot to do with areas of food and nourishment. And you've heard me talk about it in a lot of previous videos. Whenever there are transits in Pushya, I talk about agriculture and supply chain problems and those kind of things. And you must have wondered why, right? So today we will look in depth what this nakshatra is, what is its story, what's the mythology, and who's the ruler, and what does it stand for. Now, the mythology or the stories, you should not take them lightly, because I feel like the mythology was created to give us more understanding in depth about what a nakshatra or a planet means. So it's not that it's really a work of fiction, and it may be, but it has a deep coded meaning behind it. So that's why it is so important to understand the mythology of these nakshatras. So before we go further, I want to remind you to look at my website, www.vedicliving.com. Go to the free chart calculator and see if your moon is in Pushya, because if it is, then this video is for you. Not just your moon, even your ascendant or your sun being in Pushya could mean similar things, okay? So let's go forward and understand what this nakshatra is all about. Pushya Nakshatra is referred to as the nourisher. It's about nourishment. And whenever you think about it, think about food, or even not just physical nourishment, which could be food, but spiritual nourishment, right? It's about feeling and having a feeling of being complete in all aspects. And physically in the sky, this extends between 3 degrees and 20 minutes of Cancer to 16 degrees and 40 minutes of Cancer. So Pushya is completely inside the sign of Cancer. So right off the bat, you know that what does Cancer stand for? It stands for security. It stands for family, home, feeling that you belong to a certain foundation or to a certain home, and having that sense of security and nourishment. So when you think about Pushya Nakshatra, it's about helping others. It's about taking care of others in your family. And that's the situation you'll always find yourself in. And, because you are a natural caregiver when it comes to Pushya Nakshatra. The symbology of Pushya is the cow's udder. That's why it is associated with food and nourishment. It's about taking care of a baby, right? So when you have your moon in Pushya Nakshatra or your sun or your ascendant, you are from childhood surrounded by people who may need your help. So you find yourself in a situation where you're helping and taking care of others. It's always going to be the case with Pushya. Now, Pushya is also associated with fertility and abundance, because when you have planets here, you are naturally a nurturer. So you will always have this drive or kind of compassion towards all living things, but also you would have a kind of yearning to have children, because that's what the sign is about. You're a nurturer, so you want to kind of have that feeling of taking care of somebody else. And if you don't have children, that means that nourishment and nurturing is going towards somebody else in your family. You're just a natural kind of person when it comes to that. That's why you are more attracted towards fields where you are helping others. You could be a counselor or a psychiatrist or somebody who is working with patients and helping in health and healing kind of areas, because that's moon in Pushya. And also because you're naturally attracted to abundance, you do have the power to manifest a lot of abundance for yourself. People with Pushya Nakshatra are very well-to-do, mostly because they have that kind of sense on how to attract that abundance. Now, the god that presides over this nakshatra is Brihaspati. Brihaspati was known as the teacher to all the devas. So that is why this particular nakshatra has a very strong connection to spirituality and teaching higher enlightenment. people with Pushya Nakshatra, they are very strongly attracted to fields that have to do with spiritual learning and teaching, because that's what Brihaspati did. So this is why it's a highly auspicious nakshatra. So people who are born under this nakshatra, they are constantly driven by the yearning to learn and improve themselves and to become spiritually more enlightened. And you will see that they're always trying to understand how metaphysical subjects work, how to research various spiritual areas, and they want to teach and help others with their knowledge. They are very compassionate, empathetic. They can understand what their client is feeling, and they can connect to their client to help them. Now, the downside of this is that being a Pushya Nakshatra and a natural nurturer and empath, you may sometimes feel like it's too overwhelming. When too many people come to you with their problems, you feel very overwhelmed. So I have to tell you, being a Pushya Nakshatra, you have to protect yourself from a lot of that energy, because you will always be approached by people who need guidance and help. And you are a sensitive person. So those things can affect you as well. So be very careful with that and learn to protect yourself. If you really want to help more people, you have to protect yourself emotionally and spiritually. Another downside could be self-doubt. Okay, you could, because it's in the sign of Cancer, which is a water sign, Pushya Nakshatra natives tend to be a little doubtful and hesitant at times. You are not very resolute when it comes to what you want to do. I think the next nakshatra, Ashlesha, is more resolute. Pushya Nakshatra can be a little hesitant, and it could be because there's a lot of self-doubt associated with it, especially if you have Sun in Pushya Nakshatra. Yes, you can be very successful and have a lot of abundance in life, but in order to make decisions, you may be a little hesitant. So you have to work on your confidence and overcome your self-doubt in order to be successful. Now, when you look at muhurtas, the Pushya Nakshatra, whenever moon is in Pushya, is a great time for muhurtas that have to do with abundance and nourishment. So if you're doing a housewarming ceremony where you're, inaugurating your new home, or if you're starting a new business, or if it's a naming ceremony of a baby, because babies are, it's a nurturing sign, it's about Pushya. So those are very good auspicious activities that can happen during the time when moon is in Pushya Nakshatra. It's incredibly auspicious for that. It will bring a lot of success and prosperity, this particular muhurta. Now let's go to the mythology of this nakshatra. The story for this particular nakshatra revolves around Brihaspati, who was the teacher to all the gods, and his wife Tara, and Tara in Hindi or Sanskrit means stars, and the moon god, Chandra. So it's basically a love triangle between the three of them. That's the story for this Pushya Nakshatra. So as the story goes, Brihaspati and Tara, of course, they're husband and wife, they were happily married, and they were living a good life. And but however, Brihaspati was always very busy helping the devas and giving them teachings and teaching them what to do and what not to do, and he was always busy. So Tara felt a little overlooked, and she felt like her husband wasn't paying any attention to her. Now, the story goes that one day Chandra, or the moon god, visited Brihaspati's house, and he happened to see Tara there, and he fell in love with her because she was so beautiful. So, he elopes with her, she goes with him, and he takes her to his home or his abode. Now, Brihaspati comes home and sees that his wife is missing. So he goes looking for her and finds out that she's with Chandra, or the moon god. So he goes there and he demands Chandra to return Tara, which is the stars, over to him. And Chandra says, no, she's happy with me and she will stay here. So then Brihaspati becomes very angry and he decides to wage a war against Chandra. So he goes to get the help from all the devas because, of course, he's the teacher of the devas. So he gets help from all the devas. And Chandra on his side goes to all the asuras, or the demons, and tries to get help from them. And this huge war was about to happen over, who can get Tara, or the star goddess. Now, if this war happened, it would have caused massive destruction because both parties were equally powerful. So the story goes that Brahma, who was the creator god, intervened at the right time and stopped the war from happening. And he commanded Chandra to give over Tara, who was rightfully Brihaspati's wife, over to Brihaspati. And then the war was averted. Tara went home to Brihaspati, and they resumed their life. The continuation of the story goes that Tara ended up becoming pregnant, and Brihaspati wasn't sure who the father of the baby is. And initially she kept quiet. She didn't talk about it. But later on, when the baby was born, she did confirm that Chandra was the father of the baby. And this baby that was born to Chandra and Tara was Buddha, or Mercury. So this is what the mythology is telling us. So this is why, if you think about, the symbology of having the baby and the nurturing, that is what Pushya stands for. And also the fact that there is a little bit of self-doubt here, decision-making problems that Tara is having as to who she should stay with, that is also very symbolic for Pushya Nakshatra. That's what I was talking about in terms of not being able to decide what you want to do. That's why people with Pushya Nakshatra have to really work on their confidence and and also connect internally. They doing meditation or even understanding their soul and what the soul wants and connecting to that will help them a lot in life to move forward. So that is my take on Pushya Nakshatra. It's a beautiful nakshatra. It does have to do with agriculture, and whenever there is a difficult planet transiting Pushya around the world, you will see problems with food supply and agriculture. So that's one of the reasons why we say that. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.